Produced by Dane Calloway and Tanisha Calloway. Watch this brand new documentary, Mother Rosa, right now at DaneMakeYouThink.com.
It's up.
Being American actually means that I think when you start to say, I actually think conservatively, if your family only knows to vote blue no matter who, they will look at you like you are crazy and you need to leave the house, or you need to leave the family. Like, who raised you? And it's like, what do you mean who raised me? I just like being American and I think we're supposed to live off the land. So then you start to think like, why am I so different? So that's why I think that's what Sister Bethy is talking about. The waking up is just, I can actually think the way that I want to think. And if I feel like voting for a Republican, I will. I'm not saying he's the savior, but it's more of this thought process would lend to a more successful American life, I think.
May I ask, what land are you living off of? Because are you like,
when I say live off the land, I mean go in the back of your house and grow your own food. That's something that they're still doing down south. They do not do that in the north.
Yes.
Not predominantly in the north.
Predominantly, yeah. That's what I'm saying. You cannot.
Okay,
for the most part.
Way to look at it. I'm gonna go like this. Here's a better way to look at it. Is the United States a democracy?
No, it's a republic.
But keep in mind what a democracy is.
But it's a republic.
Wait.
I pledge allegiance to the United States and to the republic.
No, listen to what he's asking. You got to listen to what he's asking you. Try it again, Dane.
Is it a democracy?
No, it's a republic.
What is a democracy?
Not us.
No, can you answer it fairly? Really?
So a democracy is when the people decide. That's not what we have here. We don't decide on anything. We are given a choice. We are told these are the people that we're going. Okay, the RNC and the DNC are private corporations. They don't have to listen to us. They've said it themselves out of their own mouths. They tell us, this is who you have, pick one. That's not a democracy. That's a republic.
Democracy is just that. It's okay. Basically,
a democracy is when the populace decides.
Let me explain. Democracy is a constitutional federal republic. And that's what people are making a mistake at. They don't know what a republic is. So they thinking that it's two separate things, but it's actually the same thing. When you look at the word republic, what does that mean? We know means in return, like return something, like when we rewind, right? Return it to what? The public? But in this sense, they never mention the public as far as their text is concerned or legislation is concerned. So when they saying republic, what is that referring to? A readjustment, reorganization, just like you said, or what? A reconstruction of what a democracy is. So it's basically taking what you would think would be, oh, people get to elect people or select people, when it's not that. It's not that. It's strictly reconstructing based on what they believe in, we the people. Because they never defined who we the people were. They're going to say our forefathers. Well, who are they? They never gave birth to us.
That's a good point.
Always
they never define who we the people are, because I don't think they consider us part of the people.
The people directly refer to the people that you just mentioned, the societies or organizations who are incorporated. They incorporated themselves as a government. You and I both know that is the United States government.
It's up.
Previously known as a union, to go back to his point. Remember when they created the unions for particular people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what the United States was. The United States was.
I wasn't 3/5.
The United States was.
I mean, they lumped us all. I'm sorry, Dane. I don't mean to cut you off.
The United States was previously called the Union States. Before there was the United States, there was the Union States.
Correct. Those were the colonies.
13 colonies. up under the Union States of British America.
Correct.
It's
Dane,
Dane
let me ask you
Calloway.
a question on that. So, because she was brought up the 3/5 thing, the population down south at this time was heavy black down south, right?
I wouldn't
Correct.
consider them black, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Us,
I mean,
us Indians, because we're
right.
Indians. We don't identify as what they
That's
allege
I
us
think
to
that they
be.
implemented. They gave us.
I am not
they gave us
African at
identities,
all. That's right.
That's Democrat and Republican.
That's right.
Okay, I'm just saying that's Democrat and Republican. We went from Indian to colored, from colored to
Right.
Negro to black. Nobody else got more reclassified than us. Why? Why would they classify? Why did they have to create classism to differentiate the people who were already existing here prior to their arrival?
Correct.
Why is that? Their agenda was already blown up right there. We can tell that they wanted to. That's a part of democracy.
Kill
Well, we did a
Indians.
deal with them, so we
Amen.
have. At the beginning of it, we were at the same table negotiating how this was going to go about. From, I want to say from my understanding, but where I'm at in the research, because all right, but I want to talk about the 3/5 thing. Was that to offset the population down south versus up north to give? So it really wasn't about like, oh, they only thought of us as 3/5 of people. There's so many of y'all down there.
It was
If
a
we want,
That's correct.
It was a compromise because the South wasn't going to, they weren't going to acquiesce to what the North wanted. So the compromise from the North was
Want to free their children. But go ahead.
for 5 slaves, they could count 3 because it was too many enslaved
Of
people.
us. Too many
Yes.
Indians.
I don't want
in the
to. I don't want to put a label on it because I'm going to
Right.
get yelled at in the chat.
Gotta put it in
but that's a key point.
Too many Indians in the South because they was going to automatically win every time. But go ahead, y'all got it.
By the way,
No, because that's a key point. Because I think a lot of people think the Republicans, they only thought of you as 3/5 down south. But it was like, well, no, that they didn't really think of us as 3/5 a person. It was when we came into their system, the way that we negotiated, it was we would. I don't know. That's just me speculating on what.
You're
makes
talking
sense.
Reconstruction,
So
right, sweetie?
May I read the
wait a
I
minute,
just pulled it
y'all
up.
bringing 3/5
May I read it?
3/5 is older than that.
May I read
3/5
Yeah, it
is
is.
1787.
Yes, it says the 3/5 compromise was reached among state delegates during the 1787 Constitutional Convention. It determined that 3 out of every 5 slaves, I would say enslaved, but were counted when determining a state's total population for legislative representation and taxation.
And this was when?
1787.
Okay, let's get it. Because we had governors in 1755 in Connecticut. So I'm not going to keep going
North.
through
That's the
these
North.
circles. But
right.
I'm
That's
just
the
saying, it's all, we're talking about their colonial government.
The only way the Southerners would agree to become, combine with the North is through this 3/5 compromise. The Northerners had to allow them to do that so they could form a more perfect union.
Okay. We'll
I
use
would
those.
say it differently. She's right, but I would say it differently. It was more so about the reason why they're calling it a compromise is because straight up it's an agreement. When you hear compromise, it's an agreement amongst 2 sides.
Relax
What
and
do they
take
want
notes.
done?
Take
Listen,
notes.
all of y'all that have employees, look, we know the majority of the South got the majority of the employees because you have the majority of the resources. To simplify things, let's just make them count as 3/5 when it comes to implementing taxes, because that's what that was about. Implementing taxes on certain properties, certain
taxation, yeah.
states. That's when they were coming up with their own taxes. The taxes is old. Taxes is that much old. That's what taxes was coming in. This was all about tax, where they can receive some funds based off of you hiring people to work on your so-called plantation.
Boom.
That's what this 3/5 was about. It wasn't per se, okay, just because they were employee, their skin complexion has anything to do with it. No. Notice how they never mention anything about black. They never mention anything about any skin complexion. They were always talking about indentured servitudes at that time. I mean, excuse me, indentured servants at that time being taxed. That's it. But then that's the whole main reason why they did go to Civil War again, because they wanted to compromise again. Like, wait a minute, the taxes are being raised. Everything is coming up. Okay, like why? Why are y'all doing that to the South and not the North? Nah, we don't want that anymore. We don't want to go by. That's when it started, okay? Because at that time, you had more incoming foreigners coming in, being taxed. Don't forget, we weren't supposed to be taxed.
It's correct, and they're not taxed.
If you look at the Constitution about the 3/5 clause, or correction, they gonna call it compromise or clause. But if you look at that, that's when they indicated that Indians were not taxed. Right then and there. That's right. That's Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, or something like that. Clause 4.
And they're not taxed.
They said Indians were not taxed, so they couldn't tax us. They tax employees. So who was getting hit? The tenants that were coming in. The foreigners that were coming in. So when they raised the taxes up on them again, I think it was 1858. When they raised it again, that's when they was like, nah. They would, waited for a minute and they went to war. At that point, like, nah, the South did. Like, nah, we succeed. We separating ourselves from y'all. Y'all not trying to be unified. Why are you raising the prices up? We can't. Y'all forcing us to pay more taxes than y'all are doing, right? We had the majority of the resources here. Y'all not doing no work, North. Y'all not doing nothing for real based off of what we're doing. So tell you what, we can have our United States, so y'all can have your own. You know what I'm saying? We don't bother us. Now, at that point, the Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, or whatever, Clause 4 was out the window. Out the window. Keep in mind, they had to reestablish that in the 14th Amendment. Don't forget, that's 1868. That's basically after the Civil War. Listen to how they did that. They tried to make it seem like they were fighting over slaves. No, they were not. They were fighting over taxes.
Facts.
They were fighting over taxes this entire time. It's a great thing. And look, and the 3/5
yes, indeed.
The 3/5 compromise, guess what? It was the Democratic Republican Party. That was Thomas Jefferson leading it. The Federalists. Read the Federalist Papers. I got the whole
Federalist Papers. Yeah.
That's ma'am.
Yo, Federalist Papers.
Pull up the Federalist Papers. That was Thomas Jefferson and James Madison doing that. Hands down, the same people that created the Democratic Republican Party.
It's Dane Calloway.
Do we not acknowledge that they switched? The party switched. Now, I believe both parties.
What do you mean by that?
I believe both parties are racist, are white supremacists.
I wouldn't consider them racist. I would call them prejudice. The reason why is because they were about their people and their people alone.
White supremacists.
That was prejudice.
So maybe not racist, whatever. But
I actually can I can actually understand why they act the way they did, because those 13 colonies was their business on our land. And to have, we say they infiltrated us, they say we infiltrated them. We did assimilate into their corporation, which expanded into 50 states.
We did infiltrate them. Yes, we
did. So I guess because we were, I'm looking at all of this. All I can say, and I swear I see this when I go to sleep, is when Trump left office in 2020, everybody had businesses. As soon as Biden got sworn in 2021, what did Democrats do? Punish everybody. It didn't matter what your damn race was. All these mom and pop businesses, they end up closing down. People was chaining themselves to their house. I'll never forget that lady. I was in tears. She chained herself to the outside of her house because they told her she got to get out of it. It was just so sad. Businesses that were opened up from before I was even born had to close the Democrats punished. They didn't care. Everybody when they came in swinging, and all these businesses. I looked through my state, and it was so desolate, and it's like it was that way in every state. All these desolate buildings and everything. This is what the Democrats did. They shut down. All they wanted was rich and poor. It didn't matter what your race was. Then now they're making this comeback, because now they're like, well, damn, we closed everything, we took everybody out of business, and now all these desolate buildings and manufacturing companies are all empty. Now what are we gonna do? They start changing them into, and I talked with Willie about this, they start changing them into these loft apartments, these luxury apartments, right? Because now you have all the Indians online fighting, saying what they did to us. And, we're yelling gentrification and how they're pushing us out the hoods because they're building all these unaffordable homes. But then Willie said, well, babe, hold on. They were there. We were in the suburbs. So is it maybe correct. They're pushing us out so we can go back to where we were? I said, damn, I didn't even think about that. And we yelling at these people talking about they're coming to take over. He said, you don't remember when you was little, white people tell you, oh, my father lived in Bose Park or this project. And I was like, white people? First. And I said, you know what? I have a lot of Jewish friends that said, we lived in this high rise, this project. My mom and dad, when they were little,
the Bronx was nothing but projects.
I was like, oh my God.
So many white folks was in the projects, hands down.
Yeah, and I was like, that's right. They're going back to where they originally were. So why not fix it up pretty? And so now we got to take our black asses back to our bars.
So may I say something about that?
But go right ahead. But that's what happened. Go ahead.
I don't disagree with you, but I also want people to remember, like, we have short memories, and that's why they get away with what they get away with. This has been happening since the 21st century, so the early 2000s. They figured out that every industry, because we are like ran by an oligarchy, right? Corporations run this country.
Correct.
Every industry has had their fair share. The real estate crisis is like every couple of years, some industry gets to do their thing, crash the market, and take our tax dollars. Too big to fail. Everybody's too big to fail. Like there's no, in order for us to keep going, we gotta save this industry and save that industry. It happened with the auto industry. It happened with the banks. It was the pharmacy's turn.
Well, who saved the auto industry? The rich. Who saved the rich? Obama. Didn't he get them out? Bail them out? All the banks and all this other stuff?
No. Well, when did it tank? It tanked under Bush. Obama just came in.
Well,
they're the same people. They're the same people. If Bush would have tried to do that, people would have been up in arms. It took a Democrat to bail them out, though, so that he basically gave them money that wasn't theirs. Exactly. So if you're saying they tanked under Bush, that's what needs to happen. When it comes, so another part of the ideology is the left is for a bigger government and the right is for a smaller government, which basically conceptually is like everybody for their own. May the best person win. You compete. If you can't eat, you can't eat. Go to your own people, go to whatever. But the left has this idea of, I'll take from this person to give to that person, when that's the only concept that can possibly be that person you're taking from is someone who is homegrown, and the person you're giving to is someone who got here. I don't know why you shake your head, because I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying there's a way to look at it, because the game is the game. Whether or not we want this to be the way that it is, it's like we got to play within the game, but you got to know who's on your team and not who's on your team, what the rules are. I'll tell you why I shake my head. I shake my head because I feel like
Straight smoke. That you?
we're so close to getting to like the same understanding, but we're just not there yet. That's why I shook my head, because you say the right wants smaller government. The right wants to deregulate everything, and when you just let corporations who, when we're in a capitalist system, capitalism automatically means exploitation. And to exploit, you have to do certain things to make sure you're continuously exploiting people.
You don't have to.
Right,
it's free market. Yeah, I agree. You don't have to. Some of these people will stop doing business with certain people. Some businesses will fail. Some industries will fail.
But
it's deregulate because it's a free market. So yeah, if you can't eat.
I'm sorry, guys.
But that's not what the large corporations. That won't affect the large corporations. And that's what the government's a bank. That's what they're banking on. The local and the federal governments are banking on the large corporations. What they want done is they don't care about the population. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They don't care about what you may think, right or left. They don't care about that. That's a divisive tactic, distracting you from what their main agenda is, to have you think that your vote counts, to have you think that your voice is going to be heard, to make you believe that, oh, it's a right wing, it's a left wing, it's a Democrat thing, it's a Republican thing. That's their whole tactic. Meanwhile, the puppeteers are in the background controlling both sides, funding both sides.
It's both sides.
Like, for example, Kamala, when they announced that Kamala Harris, hey, let me tell y'all something about Kamala Harris real quick while I'm on this. Give me a second. Give me like 3 minutes to finish this, because I got 2 points I'm gonna make. Kamala Harris was supposed to be voted by the Democratic Convention, correct? In order for, when Joe Biden stepped down, Kamala Harris was supposed to be voted. Notice how she did not get voted in. Y'all need to listen to that. She was selected. That automatically blows up the voting system. Y'all need to peep game. The day they selected her, they gave her $50 million. You gotta understand that it's puppeteers in the background letting them know, look, okay, no, put her up there. This is what we gonna do. No, let's make her do this. No, keep Trump right there. They're puppeteering the whole thing. You think Trump is not a part of that? You got another thing coming. They wouldn't let Trump be this far.
Thank you.
They wouldn't have let Trump get this far. Okay, at all.
I'm still voting for Trump.
I'm not saying that vote. I'm not telling you what to do. Says you're gonna do what you do. What their agenda is, straight up. The reason why you're seeing all these large corporations buy up all of this land and pushing everybody from the inner cities to the outer cities is because they want to do, number one, depopulate. I showed y'all that in my last video. Carmela said straight up they want to depopulate the population.
She said it, didn't she?
Straight up. I got it in my video. Came out her mouth. And so did everybody else whole time, minus Trump. But at the same time, you think he not a part of that? They're gonna get a real sniper. They're gonna get a real sniper to take him out here. That was just a warning shot. Now, I'm gonna
everything you're saying is against the left. So I don't
No, it's the same game. The British government is not gonna allow somebody that's a martyr towards them, or for example, that's radical towards them, to stay in office. It's not gonna happen.
But don't you think that's why they just shot at Trump? Like, isn't it crazy that's what he's going through in order to do this?
They're making it seem as if he's the God. He's the savior. That's the whole gimmick. They gotta have somebody there to play Superman.
That's the game.
They gotta have. That's chess. That's chess. I'm not gonna show you my king unless I put my queen out there first. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw all the pawns out there first, and once you get towards my queen, you're not even gonna be able to touch the king. You're not gonna see the king when the queen out there. The queen is Trump. I'm trying to tell you.
If they wanted to fix it, they would have.
It's not about fixing nothing. It's just like medicine. When you go visit the doctor, it's not fixing nothing. They're there to treat your condition, not cure your condition. They want you to continuously come back. The mechanic claimed that he fixed your car. He treated your car. But sooner or later, you're gonna have to come back and get it fixed again. The whole point is that they want you to continuously come back. Why you think we got so many channels? If the news was the news, why we got channel 3, channel 4, channel 5, channel 6, channel 7, channel 8, all these different news stations, and not everybody talking the same until they make them talk the same. Everybody reading the script. Notice how they always got to look at the teleprompter. It's already pre-written. I called out. You can look at my life.
I remember that. I remember when you did that.
And called it out. I said, watch, Joe Biden is about to drop out Sunday. I said that Friday. Sunday, he dropped out. It's so predictable now. Like, I'm like, how y'all not seeing this?
Why did they try to do this to this man? We can't say what we saw. They showed it on TV.
Okay.
And it happened before our eyes. Okay. Let's go back. What happened to Martin Luther King?
Kill.
What happened to Malcolm X?
Kill.
What other president did they attempt to shoot at, but they weren't successful? Who was that president that they jived all on before that they could get him?
May I say?
Reagan.
All right. Now, did they not try to take Trump out? We all seen it on TV. Man, they had to cover that man up. He got up. He didn't have no damn shoes on. They tried to take that man out.
Sister Bethy, I'm not trying to say that what you saw was it real or fake. What I'm trying to tell you is that it was pre-planned. That was a warning shot. If he goes against the regime, they're going to take him out. Just like they took out everybody else that went against the regime. Abraham Lincoln, James Garfield, William McKinley, John F. Kennedy. They will take your ass out if you go against the regime. Ain't no.
But do we want a leader going against the regime, or do we want a leader who is all about the regime?
We want a leader that goes against the regime.
Boom.
That's
Dane.
what we want.
Boom.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, Trump ain't that. He's pretending like he is. He's not. Because if he was, he wouldn't have the Secret Service around him. He wouldn't have he would have his own security that he can hire as a billionaire around him. He will be going in. It will be more than this is fake news. We don't care. Hillary this, Hillary. All of that was a front. I'm trying to tell you, it was great entertainment. All of that was a front, because if he was about that, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I was behind Ice Cube's plan. I was in there and inserted our stuff for American Indian stuff right there. You know what Trump did? Trump took Ice Cube's plan, switched it, changed the name, named it the Platinum Plan. We're gonna do great things together. I promise you, we're gonna get there, and nothing got done. When he was in office at that.
So how come all these black people got businesses? Even
that's
people with horrible past. Oh, okay.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I'm totally confused.
Okay. The plan for black people, okay, that Ice Cube created.
What year did he create that?
What year was that? Shoot. I'm trying to remember now. I can't remember. If this was, I think it was 2 years ago.
It was
2017.
2017. I think they.
No, it wasn't 2017.
It was actually elected.
No.
So that
Trump
means
was
it was
in
around
office.
20.
Trump was on his way out.
He asked when did he pitch the plan?
No, he pitched the plan when Trump was in office. I was right there.
You was updating us, so yeah.
And Trump was about it though. Trump was about it. He was like, he heard him out.
Hold on, no, he did. And he changed. I told you, Trump made it seem like he was going to go all the way through. Then he switched the name of it to the Platinum Plan. Okay, when he switched it to the Platinum Plan, he did nothing else after that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When he was
getting ready to run.
No.
I remember Trump saying in front of a mic that that was a part of his second term. He was going to do that for his 2020 run.
No. Okay, now I swear
and
to
then
God,
he didn't. And then Ice Cube didn't get the same meeting with the other side, so he was like, "Look, I don't know what's going on."
He tried Biden first.
He tried Biden first. Biden wasn't trying to hear it.
No,
went to Trump.
Biden's
Trump said, "Let's talk."
Declined.
See, that's what I'm saying. Don't y'all see it?
Which is what I was saying. It was while they were still running. He talked to them
for the second term.
Only
so
did
Trump
that to garner people's vote or garner their back, like to get their. Okay, look, black people, I'm doing this for you. It was like that. Unfortunately, it was like that. They just let that fall down the hill. Like, we worked real hard on that plan. My pages alone was 4 pages. Mine that I wrote.
I gotta respect it, but I respect it, and I think that we would have seen it had Trump been in office.
I don't know about that.
Trump got kicked out of office not kicked out, but Trump's term ended the next year. He was running at that time.
Right. I agree with you on that part. Trump's term term ended, but he had an opportunity to make that plan go through. He did. Everybody
that's
else
a big
jumped.
plan to throw in on your way out.
What
It's
you
a
mean?
big plan. Those were big changes y'all were trying to make, and I still think it's. But that's why I'm not trying to say we need to go to bat for this guy or take a bullet for this guy, but that's the guy.
Look how fast Biden moved to get the approval to send billions of dollars to Ukraine. That was 24 hours. And you mean to tell me it wasn't going to take Trump 24 hours to implement that plan? If they want something done, an EO would come out here. It wasn't they don't even got to wait for Congress. He can make it an executive order the next day.
Absolutely.
Look, the whole plan was written for him. Moses, real talk. Listen to me. We wrote all of that shit, bruh. That was a whole lot of shit that we wrote. And he changed the name and made it his own. And promised us that, this was going to get done. That was going to get done. And he had time, bruh.
I don't know.
Time.
You're equating that to someone from a foreigner coming over picking up a check. That's one thing. But
no, they sending it to the foreigners. They ain't coming over here to pick up the check.
But still, you're talking about shipping some money, but the plan is to actually build and do things in communities that takes time to actually build, find the workers, execute, inform the people. It's a real.
Let me come back.
The plan is the way that I think about it in my head. That's not something you could just do on your in 6 months.
I'm gonna combat that with this. Obama came out with Obamacare, right? Trump was in office and Obamacare was still out. He
Trump
did, but he couldn't.
Go ahead.
But he didn't do nothing about it.
He couldn't stop
Everything
it.
was already implemented because everything was already implemented.
And if Trump would have did the same thing, Joe Biden could have came in there and stopped what? Nothing. It wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If that would have went through, I'm talking about it was bigger than a letter. That was legislation that we handed over. We did more work than anybody on reparations. Somebody said I was shooting down reparations. I'm talking about we moved faster than the reparations task force.
Thank you.
One of them. We moved way faster than the reparations task force. I'm not shooting down reparations, so that's
right.
Yeah, that HR 40.
I just want to correct that person because I don't even know who that person is, but you don't know me, so I'm going to correct you right now. I'm not against reparations. I wasn't shooting down reparations. What I was doing was telling y'all how you going to get reparations from a government that's always been your enemy.
There you go.
That's what I'm telling you.
I'm just here to make you think.
Slow down. Yeah. Sub up, like up.